Everybody, welcome back to Spitballin' Cards. I'm your host for the day, Jeff. Along with me is Raptor, aka Teapot, aka Ty, and Chris, baseball card addict, and Filmington. We're going to dig into some things today, leading off with the Topps Industry Conference, which just happened last week, and one of us got to go there. Was it you, Chris, or Phil? Somebody got to go. I think it was Teapot. It's the Raptor. So we're going to get a firsthand account of all the things that went on at the industry conference and tell them what we think of it. So without further ado, take it away, Teapot.
Yeah. So this was my first time attending the Topps Industry Conference. The nice thing, it was here in Atlanta, so I didn't have to travel anywhere. I just got to go home late at night, admittedly, but sleep a few hours, come back, do it all over again. So Sunday we had a kind of a meet and greet mixer happy hour during the evening, and got to just talk to a lot of card shop owners. So this conference, for those who don't know, is just pretty much an opportunity for Topps, the manufacturer, to connect with local card shop owners, and especially those who have gotten into their good graces, I guess would be the best way to put it, Topps, and gotten good allocation and formed relationships and are what I would actually call like partners, not formally in a contractual or ownership sense, but business partners in the industry. And it was a packed house. It was at the College Football Hall of Fame downtown Atlanta. It was cool. I'd never been there. And had this big full room, and just getting to talk to shop owners about their experience. How's it been going? How long you've been doing this? And what I kept hearing over and over again was everybody had a record year last year. Everybody. All things in the hobby going well. People really bullish on everything, very excited to have their shops. Many of them had just renovated or moved to larger spaces or opened second or third or fourth locations. And so lots of positive buzz all around from everybody there. The one concern that I heard from a lot of people was around theft, especially employee theft, and just getting good, trustworthy people hired. Who know what they're doing, who are passionate about the hobby, and who won't steal from them. Even to the point where there's, one shop owner that I was talking to had somebody who was supposed to be at the industry conference with them, and they had to let go like the day before because they found out this like 10 or 12-year employee was stealing from them. And so it just, the people aspect is very difficult in the retail space in general, and is a real pain point for a lot of these shop owners. So Monday, what they did was they shifted into talking about their expectations, Topps expectations for card shops. And they announced that they're putting together a scorecard, basically a 100-point system with broken down into all these categories about how your shop looks, the way you interface with your customers, how up to date you are on technology. Are you using Fanatics suite of offerings, whether it's sending consignments to Fanatics Collect or selling on Fanatics Live or selling Fanatics apparel in your store, all of those types of things. Because they're saying, hey, look, we want you to be a part of what we're doing, and we expect you to help us grow and, be financially successful. So there was a whole scorecard put together, and basically, some people kind of, I think, raise their eyebrows and like, wow, they're going to tell me how to run my shop. Or I didn't hear anybody there say that at all, but I think other reactions and comments and things so far. But at the end of the day, like, I think Fanatics and Topps realize they need shops to represent the industry really well. And they have an expectation, and they're saying, if you want to get product directly from us and have a strong allocation, which is what they're tying this scorecard to, they literally said, the higher your score, the more allocation you will get of product for us to support you. Then you need to be up to snuff. You need to represent the hobby really well in a lot of key areas. And I agreed with most of the scorecard at the end of the day. So that was really the second day. The one piece that stood out to me from it was that they had all these breakout sessions all afternoon, and they were about things like getting a digital point of sale set up, training and hiring staff, loss prevention, a lot of different, very like operational things to help business owners. And what stood out to me is that the Topps representatives who were conducting these breakouts seemed to really know what they were talking about, which meant they were doing their legwork. They have been visiting shops around the United States for the last year. They've visited something like 255 shops in the last year or something. They're going around, making the rounds. They're doing audits, and they're saying, we want to help you. We're not just coming in and giving you prescriptions without understanding what it takes to run a business. We want to show you how to set up Stripe as your point of sale, or how to set up, Shopify, or how to do some of these other things. So it very much felt like a support network type thing, as opposed to just, well, we're the manufacturer and do what we say. And then the third day, smartly, what they did. So Monday night there was a big offsite, at a restaurant event, and it was a good opportunity to meet people. I got to get my picture taken and an autograph of Frank Thomas, which was really cool. And then so Tuesday was all about product, all the product reveals, not just baseball, but everything that Topps has coming, including the license transfer of both basketball and football product. And a lot of talk about entertainment and non-sports cards, Star Wars Chrome, lots of Star Wars products, Marvel, and a whole bunch of other things. Gary V was there promoting VeeFriends, which has obviously been around for a little bit now. Came out a few years ago, but is now officially partnered with Topps. So there is VeeFriends Topps Chrome coming out, and he says that's going to be his next 30 or 20 year till he dies, IP that he wants to turn into Pokemon. So there's a lot more information on all of those other things.
What VeeFriends is?
Yeah, so VeeFriends, sure. I'd probably be better off prompting ChatGPT to really get to the bottom of it. But basically, Gary put out this inaugural release of VeeFriends, and it was a lot of sketches that he did, apparently, of cartoons, animals, other things. There's optimistic otter, and it's all a lot of alliteration and gregarious giraffe. I'm not sure what they all are.
Empathy elephant, maybe
something like that. But it's supposed to be.
Maybe a pumping platypus. I don't know what else we got here.
It's supposed to be, I think, kind of business, entrepreneurial, encouraging, maybe youthful. But these were originally sold with access to his V conference or whatever he called it. I guess it's supposed to be about kind of business ethics and virtues coupled with these characters, and he plans to grow it. I don't know if they have intentions to make it into a TCG or what the expansion plans are, but he's very excited about it. Got some stage time to talk about it, and so there's a lot more on these topics that I talked about on the Jeff Wilson podcast, kind of in the other sports. So if anybody else wants to hear more about what's coming with football, basketball, and non-sports, as well as UFC and wrestling, go check that podcast episode out. And I want to talk about that here on baseball, but I'll kind of pause there. Just anything from that jump out to you guys, and then we can talk obviously about, I think, the most exciting part, which was the baseball products and what they're doing there.
When they're making these announcements, is it like Comic-Con? Is there a big stage with these dramatic reveals?
Yes. Yep. Exactly like that, to the point where people came out running out of smoke machine, and they did the whole work. So it was very well produced. A little kitschy, is that the word? But it was really well done, I thought.
Okay, I have to say, we just spent about 2 minutes mentioning Gary V. I think it's a waste of 157 seconds. If you're watching our channel, please don't buy that crap. It's not gonna be worth anything in 6 months. I saw a YouTube video. He compared himself, he thought he could, get the Marvel universe, get that kind of level for this stuff. Do not invest a cent in this. Let's just move on. Let's talk about baseball stuff instead. I just can't handle it. It starts to really, really upset me.
Jeff or Phil, either of you guys have a different point of view on VeeFriends?
The thing about Gary V is he's a lot like Vegas Dave, probably a more polished version, but he's a hype guy. He's a marketing guy. He's really good at driving hype. Unfortunately, though, these VeeFriends characters, in my opinion, and I'm sorry if I piss anyone off, and maybe I don't get all the nuances, but I think he sees what's happening with TCG. It's clear as day. It's exploding. Not even just Pokemon, but all of these other brands like One Piece that nobody had heard of 2-3 years ago. Weiss, stuff that most of us still haven't heard of. But everybody they're reaping the benefits of what's happening with Pokemon. It's just a really hot time for TCG, and I think he's just trying to piggyback off that and see if he can take advantage of some of this momentum. A lot of his plays, he often advertises as being there's a lot of long-term future and utility for these things, but really he's approaching it in a very short-term way. And I think that's very transparent for all of us. So these characters, They're not creative. The art's not good. There's probably no utility for the cards, unlike Pokemon and all these other things. The draw, all of these TCGs are very different, and they all deserve respect in their own way. Some are more catered towards people that watch the game. Some are more catered towards like the cartoon that they're based off of. Some are more catered towards like really elaborate art and storylines and weird stuff. Like it's a different consumer. I've tried to kind of lump them all in together, especially the non-Pokemon ones, but it's not the way it works. And VeeFriends is a poor attempt at trying to take a slice of that pie of profits, in my opinion. And I'm sure Gary's helped out a lot of people in his, motivational work. And he's probably also hurt a lot of people in some of the stuff that he's done. I'll probably edit this out, but one of my really smart friends who was the chief technology officer at a company that was purchased by Uber a few years ago, he said that the sneaker flipping thing, in a lot of us, like we do this as like a side hustle, but a lot of these people don't value their time. A lot of the scalpers that are lined up at Target, they just use that time to reinvest in their careers or some other higher paying skill versus trying to create a second stream of revenue or income, cash flow. They would have been better off. So yeah, there's that. So, but yeah, seems like a really cool Topps Chrome product. I'm sure Scott feels the same.
If there's any Halloween characters in there, we know what Scott will be going after.
I actually have one pulled up. It's so funny you say that because I just paused on this video at a random spot for the very, 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 very lucky black cat, which I don't think is explicitly Halloween, but feels very, 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 very Halloween. As well as stained glass and
I remember there was
Rubin auto.
Michael Rubin autograph. Okay.
This guy who has a pretty viral podcast. I know that much. Lots of little characters. So sorry, Chris, don't gouge your eyes out. But
I just remember that like at the peak of the market hype around the pandemic, there was some sort of Gary VeeFriends release and they were going for insane amounts of money, these cards. And then the bottom completely dropped out. And I don't know why this would be any different or why they would get another chance.
I wonder if I have any data on that.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I don't know why Topps would choose to get in bed with something like this, but it's disappointing for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
so the VeeFriends, the first release, it was like a Dutch auction or something, and I think they had like 2,000 boxes to sell, maybe 10,000. It wasn't that many, and I think the settle price was around $2,200 for that. They
and then I
went
remember
up to like
they were just secondary market. We're just
the sealed stuff ended up like reaching like 10,000, maybe higher, and I'm sure it's crashed since. The sealed stuff is just so limited, but I'm sure these single cards have gotten destroyed.
Furious Sperm Whale.
This is one of the highest sales on record, a number to 5 serious sperm whale that sold for $410. So that seems like
probably not even covering the cost of the box.
Unless is it just like, is it all one word? Is it just VeeFriends like this? Maybe. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. I guess I just misspelled it. So Empathy Elephant did 20K. So maybe there's a market there.
Yeah, but look at those
very,
dates.
very, very, very
Those
lucky
dates.
black cat.
Yeah, that's a year. That's 11 months ago.
Yeah, zero.
I mean,
cool.
and the top ones were 2022.
Let's see this. Let's look at let's look at this year, and then let's see what sold for the most cases. Unsurprisingly, Gift Goat.
Why?
Yeah, we're not seeing any $20,000 sales in 2025. That's for sure. Prudent Polar Bear. So,
Interesting Topps.
look, in the interest of not beating somebody up, stabbing him, and then dancing on their grave, I'll say this about Gary: I've never followed him. I didn't even know who he was when I got it back into the hobby, but obviously a lot of people did, and he's kind of built an empire. And I do know some people who are huge fans of his, and said he helped them with their entrepreneurial, ventures and things. The piece about this that doesn't make any sense to me is he said at the show that this is for kids. So he said it's for kids. That's not how the original Zero Cool product was pitched. That was very much about like his fan base and catering to them. but that felt like a disconnect because I don't have any desire for like a hand scribbled Bumblebee. So, that was just an odd match to me. He probably could have done more by leaning more into this like entrepreneurial like podcaster space, like the autos we just saw a minute ago, where it's like, hey, we're connecting you with some of these people or something along those lines. The guy, cusses more than just about anybody. So like to say, hey, I want you all to now go look me up and like hear my advice, my effing advice about effing life, about effing, that's the part that was like confusing to me, is like, that's his prerogative and that's fine. But it's not necessarily kid friendly. So the product doesn't jive up to me, but that's probably enough about VeeFriends.
Yeah, let's get to the baseball stuff.
Yeah. Baseball was, I thought, pretty exciting. It was just cool to be sort of like there while they're talking about these products. And I would say like a couple of the big things, 3 things that stood out to me. One, we know this, Mayhem was on your show on Blabbin talking about standardization of parallels. We talked about that a little bit in the past weeks, but like they're doing that across the board. They're standardizing parallels to help people understand that when you pull a gold, it's to 50, it's to 50, it's to 50. Even in Heritage. So they're doing that. The second thing was they talked a lot about experiences and trying to increase experiences, not just the collector experience and how that ties into the local card shop, but doing more to connect fans with the game. And there's a Grails series. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. They did it in soccer, where let me see if I actually can pull one up. Topps Grails, because they look really cool. And here we go. Perfect. So what these are is a set. And so it's kind of stained glass themed. So this is Cristiano Ronaldo. This was the Grails set. There may have also been an Erling Haaland one a few years ago. And they let you collect all 9. And if you're the first one, and you can register them on their website, like when you get one, you register it and there's a leaderboard. And if you get all 9 of these, you actually unlock first of all, a gold, like an actual gold card. That's like part of the Grails series. It's a 1-of-1 gold card. And then you also unlock a fan experience. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was probably to go to a game where Cristiano Ronaldo was playing, possibly a meet and greet. And they're doing that in F1 now, where you get to go to some huge F1 event. And they're doing more stuff like that, I think, to say, how can we get you, when you buy cards, when you collect achievements and do other things, to events. We've seen the influencer or the social media follow backs and other things. And so I think they're chipping away at it, and they plan and want to do a whole lot more. They're also looking at a lot more of those like game use moments and like iconic relics and things like that. And then the last thing was the big Red Rookie RC Redemption program that they're rolling out for Bowman, which I thought, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like I thought, well, okay, cool. Like another way to get some money. And then it just was like met with like almost overwhelmingly negative backlash all over social media when it was announced. And so curious, I've talked a lot about this topic on other shows now, the red logo and all the other stuff, but any other questions about
what? Do you know how rare that's going to be? That was my biggest question with the red rookie card logo. Is it
I do not know
rare?
What the pack odds are. Yeah, I think this was a mistake for them not to announce that as part of it. What they said there was that these will not be rare. That was the verbiage. These will not be rare. And so to me, if that means they are 1 in 4 packs or 1 in 8 packs, and it's the rookie, whatever the rookie checklist is, that's kind of cool. I mean, you get one. The example that I made when I was on Jeremy Lee's podcast or live show this last weekend was, he said, well, I like to collect players. If I had this card, like I don't want to turn it in. I collect the player, let's say like for somebody like me, like Scooble. But I said, hey, think of it this way. Scooble won Cy Young last year. That's redeemable for $300 in credit, Fanatics Cash, which you can use on Fanatics Collect, Fanatics Live, or Fanatics.com. And that card, if it's 1 in 4 or 1 in 8 packs, or even 1 in 20 or something, it's not going to be worth that much, like just by itself as like a short printed rookie parallel. I just bought Scooble's red foil Bowman first edition to 5 for $300. So like I could have traded in this one of many copies, probably red logo, for like a numbered to 5 Bowman first of the same player. And so I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I didn't buy it from Fanatics, but like the point still stands. So,
but the rewards are pretty limited, right, Ty? He would have had to win the Rookie of the Year first in order for that.
So the way it works is if you win Rookie of the Year, you can cash it in. If you have one of those 2 players, you can cash it in, I think, for up to 4 or 6 months after they win Rookie of the Year. And then it expires. And then after that, if they win a Cy Young or an MVP at any point, you have a certain amount of time, maybe 6 months or a year, I don't know how long, to redeem it to get $300. If they win a second MVP or a second Cy Young and you haven't traded the card in yet, so maybe you just ripped one of Phil's rookie explosion boxes or your own box that you were saving, or you just found one in a box laying around, you get 500. 3 MVPs or Cy Youngs is 700. And if they make the Hall of Fame 25, 30 years from now, it's going to be $1,000, which will be worth like $400 or $500 in, you know, today's money. So I think they screwed up 2 things. All these like long-term rewards and things, to me, was like, that could have been better executed. And the other thing was just not talking about how rare or how common these would be, because I think they're supposed to be pretty common. So you might foreseeably be able to go, you know what? I think Andrew Abbott is going to win a Cy Young at some point in his life. I'm going to pick up 5 of these for, you know, $25 or something. I don't know what they're going to cost, but
Teapot, he's got to win the Rookie of the Year first, right?
No,
that's what I thought it was.
No. Oh, see,
sure?
Yes, I'm positive. No, they don't have to win Rookie of the Year. They just have to win a Cy Young or an MVP.
I thought they had to win Rookie of the Year, so only one player was going to have value going forward.
They
did a horrible job communicating.
I don't think that's the case.
A horrible job, because that's what it seemed to be very explicit. Like, so that's why only one player would have value going forward. If anybody could have value, it's great. I love it. And that's what I was going to say. Like, somebody could be an MVP down the road, then that wax would have value, extra value, etc.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay, if your player wins Rookie of the Year, that card is eligible for redemption. Wait to see if your player achieves more milestones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of asterisks there.
That's not even spelled out clearly.
I think they have to do that. So that was my biggest problem with it, because they're making a big deal out of it, and at the end of the day, it's going to be 2 players.
James Wood is not eligible for Rookie of the Year. Is that correct? Because of the number of plate appearances he had last year.
I think so. Yeah, he came up too early last year.
That's why he's not in the Vegas odds for.
Yes.
Yeah. So so there's going to be 30, probably right around 30 players that have this rookie card logo that are on this checklist. If I'm looking at the checklist now, and all of the Bowman rookies that have the RC that are reflected in the base checklist, those guys also get the Reds. So there's a chance, a few of those, not just James Wood, but a few of those won't even be eligible.
There's also a chance, right, that a decent chance that someone that wins Rookie of the Year won't be in the set. Like, they can just come up a little bit later, get hot for 3 months, and win the award.
Gosh, that's another good point.
There's 2 things I got to say. When Teapot said all these cards will continue to be eligible, I was like, oh wow, this is great.
So I thought that was the case, but now reading the verbiage, that
also,
does not appear to
why
be
are they calling this red logo? They go out of their way to make all these colors matter to a certain amount. I assume there were 5 of each card.
Exactly. So stupid. Yes, that's what I thought too. I thought you had to pull the red parallel, and then they said no, the actual rookie logo shield is red. Yes, they're doing a great job at trying to confuse everybody.
So this is a very, very, very short list of players, even in this set. It does say so he's in it, but he's ineligible to win the award. So
did they? I'm not seeing Christian Campbell. Did he not even get in the set?
So those guys. These are Chrome cards based on the pictures, which means that Bowman Chrome will probably also have this. So hopefully Christian Campbell and others, Cam Smith, Jacob Wilson's in this one, right? But yeah, hopefully a lot of those top guys make it into Bowman Chrome and they continue the program through Bowman Chrome. They can't do it through draft because this is a rookie card oriented thing.
Yes,
obviously.
This is actually really fun. Sorry. I mean, look, this was the point I made. At worst, you're getting a non-serial numbered short printed rookie card.
Yeah.
Like inserted.
It's not that big a deal. They're attempting to do something. This is their first crack at it. I imagine they'll smooth it out next year and maybe they'll make some tweaks. But I don't think there's any reason to get like mad. It's just like another rookie card in there.
Off the back of something that was easy to understand, like the buyback. Great. You can go use it at your shop. And I know in our chat, some people, I believe it was Scott, had an issue with you getting Fanatics cash, like credit instead of actual money. And that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, you can use it. You can buy more cards. That doesn't bother me. I just, the lack of overall future value and utility is what bothers me. I love the idea that these cards could have some future utility. And if you get a red rookie and he wins an MVP in 3 years, you can cash it in, even for $100. Why can't they do something like that? Especially if it's credit.
So a few things here. I worry that there's a few things I worry about as a wax buyer. I like how this isn't like a completely short-term gimmick. I mean, we'll know after the first year for this one product who the chases are going to be. But to continue to be able to like stack, and I mean, I know it doesn't stack as in like 100 plus 400, but to be able to be eligible for future awards in the future, like, and to be able to redeem them like 6, 7, 8 years from now, or even like 20 years from now. I guess they have to make it into the Hall of Fame within 5 years of eligibility. So they can't be like, 9th or 10th year. So just nothing added to it. But like, that's kind of cool because it makes the wax that I buy that usually with the marketing gimmicks, like, oh, bounty. Oh, it's already been, it's already been fulfilled. Or in the past, it was the expired redemptions too that annoyed me. And like the value of my product, my inventory would just fall. I know I'm one of the few, and many people don't hold this stuff long term, but that was something I was worrying about. But on top of that, customers, and with these sorts of buyback programs, they often overpay for the wax with like cool gimmicks like this. Meaning, if the value of what was inside was $100 and the box cost $300, and you're adding an EV of 30% or $30 to those boxes as a result of this gimmick, then the cost of the product that was $300 will now be $390 or more. It could go up exponentially in the case of Topps Chrome Update from the most previous year. So I don't have data on this, but I feel it. I see it. I calculated it with 23 Topps Chrome Update with the one-on-one debut patches. And I'm like, oh, geez, like this is a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And there's also the average consumer's inability to understand time value of money. So like waiting 20 years for $1,000 might not be the smartest thing to do. And also this is on them, right? This is on the buyer. And a lot of us are irrational for even buying this in the first place, but understanding like risk reward, like you really should not be holding any of these guys till Hall of Fame chances to try to get like that highest reward. Like, please don't do that. And also, here's another thing. So if enough of these get redeemed, so to redeem these, you actually have to send in the physical cards. That takes them out of the population. So if you've got like a really coveted card that's nobody else has, like, wouldn't you want to kind of hold it maybe and try to sell it and get some money that way too? You know what I mean? So like, I see what Fanatics is doing here, and they're giving you an avenue to monetize cards that you're getting out of boxes without being reliant on a grading company. Kind of another way for them to like remove them out of the equation and make it so it's just about them and you don't have to grade it. But there could be other ways to make money from these cards, but I guess they're not going to be rare. What we do know is that, so blowout cards, if you look at their what they have for sale right now, they've got 2025 Bowman Breakers Delight boxes, and we covered this in that episode, but there will be one per box of Breakers Delight, if that's right. One red rookie per box. And there's like 30 different cards to pull, right? So there's going to be a lot of these. So I guess that's cool, to Ty's point and to all our points. Like, it's cool to like provide people so much value. And then I'm looking at like, how are like these boxes could get pretty expensive, like much more expensive than pre-sale just from this program. So that'll be interesting to watch in the next week or so. We're recording this on May 5th. Bowman will be out on May 7th, and I think that's when we'll see these cards get pulled and people to have a better understanding of this. But I think right now, $240 for a hobby box. Depending on how much they fall in hobby and jumbo, not just Breaker's Delight, like that could be a really good price instead of just like an okay, fair price.
They can't even, like, the guy gets on the veterans committee like 30 years down the road. They're like, no, that's not good enough. You're not getting your 700.
You should get extra. If you have to wait that long, it should be
If anybody
1100.
from Topps is listening, please, you need to adjust it so that you can claim the awards later if they win one of those awards without having won Rookie of the Year.
Then James Wood could win. You could get credit for, say, he wins MVP in 2028.
Because I really
Otherwise,
thought my
it's
Scooble
like-
example was
Yeah.
real, but it's not because he didn't win
No,
Rookie of the Year.
not real.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like a parlay, essentially, right? Like, you're just like, when do you cash out your parlay? Like, you have to like get all these things together. It's come on.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add about the industry conference, Ty, or anybody have any more questions for the Raptor?
How much bigger than you is Frank Thomas?
So he's listed as 6'4", I believe, or 6'5".
6'5", I think was his
The
playing
picture I
height.
took didn't look that much bigger, but it was a little bit of a weird angle.
I gotcha.
He's a big guy. He was very authentically friendly when I met him. He was like, I don't remember how he just, it was a quick exchange. A lot of people doing it, but seems
Was he
like
selling Nugenics?
No, I think he was just
No?
showing it off. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. It seemed like he wouldn't hurt a fly. So
One thing. So back to the original. Well, I don't know if it was the first thing we talked about, but hobby shops in the scorecard system. Do you get a sense as to, like, what if a hobby shop just doesn't want to get into breaking? And there's probably some other ways they could use Fanatics Live. I guess that's still personal rips in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
They could still sell singles and stuff through, like,
so
Fanatics.
every shop has
They have to do breaks.
Yeah. That was part of it, Jeff. That was part of the scorecard. But my impression is, because the scorecard is directly tied to allocation, that's the lever Topps is pulling to say you need to get your act, together. But I think it's more nuanced than that, to where if you're doing literally everything they're asking you to do, including consigning cards to Fanatics Collect, which is a bit of an odd thing for me to think a local card shop does, but I did hear of a few there who were doing it. Then you're going to you have the theoretical possibility of getting a 100-point score. And if that's the case, if you're breaking on Fanatics Live, you're going to need more product. So your allocation goes up. But, like, think of it as just like, what's your ceiling with what you do as a business? And I think what Topps is trying to avoid is dealers saying, I need more product, only to go liquidate it, and not liquidate it, but like flip it on DealerNet or something else for profit, right? Like, they don't want that. They don't want local card shops getting product at, SRP just to, like, sell it to another card shop that actually needs it. So they're saying, if you do this much, if you rip this many cases of Topps flagship or whatever, we want to make sure you get enough allocation to support the activity that you're doing in your store or the demand within your shop operations. So I just think of it as, like, let's say that piece counts for 10%. I don't remember what the number was. You're just going to miss out on that 10% of allocation theoretically, because
That's
you
going
don't
to be interesting, Teapot, because I'll be interested to see what Rob does at some place like Burbank, because he's so staunchly anti-breaking. He's already way in bed with Fanatics Collect. So I don't know if there's some special dispensation by
maybe
being on a different platform and not having to break, but that'll be interesting to see. And if they treat all the card shops equally, or does some people get extra treatment because of their relationship?
I mean, nobody's gonna. There's nothing here that says that some independent third-party auditor, needs to come in and audit the scoring system like they do with the pack out, system and the randomization, which they touched on at the conference as well. But so I imagine there's a way for somebody to go, look, objectively, your score is 80 out of 100, but you're Rob or whoever, so we're just going to give you what you. I don't know. They have that final say as a company. So
a lot of people probably benefiting more than some think if they don't have a hobby shop and they just do breaking. They don't have the overhead, but they do a lot of volumes, and a lot of these guys probably get treated better than most hobby shops.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of annoying. But not to throw out names, there's the ones that we've talked about on this show. There's good breakers like Run Good Life, right? He doesn't have a hobby shop. I'm sure allocation won't be a problem for him, but he deserves it. So
it's a little weird, right? It almost has a feeling of like Vito Corleone making sure you're selling your olive oil correctly, or else you're not going to get any. There's kind of a weird overarching feel to it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's a definite quid pro quo. And I wonder how much of this will change if and when Fanatics opens their own more of their branded shops. We'll see what the next half decade shows. All right. Thank you so much for the first person account, Teapot, of what happened at the industry conference. We appreciate everybody watching. If you'd like more content from us, we do have a Patreon. We'll put the link in the description, and we have a couple new videos up there. And so please continue to support the channel, and we appreciate you. Thanks.